pessoal, eu sou a Catarina Moraes e hoje eu tô aqui com The Stylistics. Hi guys, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. We're doing good. Thank you.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you very much.
Good.
So to start off, I wanted to speak because Herb, you were in the percussions and Arian was in the Monarchs. Right. And now those roots grew into something legendary, and over 50 years later, you're here in Brazil again. Right. So I wanted to know, how are you feeling being back in Brazil?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's been a while since we're here, like you said, since we were here last. And it's always a pleasure to come back and know that we still have fans and friends, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it feels real good. It feels real good.
It's amazing to have you back here. How are you feeling?
I'm great. I mean, it's always good to come back and feel the love that we left. You know, to still see the love is still very vibrant. And people are still listening to this old school music that never dies.
Yeah, we love the old school music here on Antena 1. And your current tour is titled Falling in Love with My Girl. And I wanted to know, I was very curious, what inspired that name?
Well, the gentleman by the name of Mr. Tom Cridlin came up with that fantastic name, and we're riding with it.
You're just going with it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I heard some speculations that maybe it might be the name of something, a new project, something coming up.
Well, we do have a new album that's about to be released, and we're definitely looking forward to that. There's a song on there that's titled I Will, which was in collaboration and a duet with Shania Twain. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Yes.
Right.
Okay. And you performed all around the world. In São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro is your next places. And also you're going to Detroit. And also you're going to Carnegie Hall. So I wanted to congratulate you because 50 years later, you're back into that venue. And how does it feel? I wanted you to speak a little bit about the first time that you were there. And also, how does it feel to be back there afterwards?
Oh, it's definitely an honor and a pleasure to be back there. The very first time we played, I was a youngster, you know what I mean? And that to play such a prestigious place, you know, and all the accolades that come with it, it was exciting, scary, you know what I mean? Walk out on stage to see all these people out there in the audience. And we were, and the beautiful thing about it, we played it with a full orchestra. So it was really exciting.
How does it feel now that you're going to play? Is it still nervous about it?
Well, you're always nervous before you go on, and just the excitement about going on. So that adds to what's about to happen. Yes.
You always have the jitters. I think once you lose that nervousness, you've lost the love of the music. So you always feel a little overzealous. But playing at places like Carnegie Hall, it speaks for itself. You put that on your resume, people pay attention. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And I saw that, I loved to hear, when I was researching, I loved to hear the stories about like the first time that Arian specifically like heard some songs. And I wanted you to know, because the first time that he said that he heard You Make Me Feel Brand New, he had goosebumps and he felt like something different about it. And I wanted to know, how important is it for you both to connect emotionally with a song and to choose it to play live, or what goes through this process of choosing a song to the Stylistics to be singing?
Well, we're going into the studio to record a song. You hear it and you say, okay, that might be nice. Then you hear, then all out of that bunch that you listen to, there's always that one that will grab you. You know what I mean? And it's just an exciting feeling, you know, to know that you're still around people that will write songs for you and still writing good songs, you know, instead of just recording just to be recording, you know, to say, well, we recorded something. But the element of having great songs and working with Mr. Tom Cridlin, it came up with some great songs for the group.
You really did.
Very much so.
Those songs resonate, you know, so deeply if you listen to the lyrical content of You Make Me Feel Brand New. And that transcends through people's heart, their minds, their souls, every aspect of love and music. You can't go wrong. And this has been decade after decade after decade that people are still loving this music like it was the first time they've heard it.
It transcends generations. I think.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
And now talking more about like music and your influences, you always mention the Temptations when you're talking about like, the music influences, but you have a very like remarkable sound of shaping the Philadelphia soul music also. And you also talking about like working with other people nowadays, but you worked in the past with Tom Bell, Burt Bacharach. I always and Linda Creed writing your own songs. So in your opinion, how do you like choosing these people shape your sound till nowadays?
Well, Tom Bell was contracted by the record label after we came out with our very first song, You're a Big Girl Now. It took off in what we call the tri-state area, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, Baltimore. And it was on a local label called Sebring Records. And at that time, Africa Embassy Records picked it up and sent it nationally. And it was raising so much noise that they wanted an album done, and they contracted Tom Bell to produce an album on the group.
And do you think that his influence marked your story?
Oh, of course, without a doubt. You know, with Russell, well, we always got to make mention of Russell Tompkins Jr.'s falsetto. You know, Tom had a way of melding that with his music, you know what I mean, and telling a story with his lyricist, the late great Miss Linda Creed, you know, that wrote those songs, you know, and most of them anyway, along with Gamble and Huff that, you know, contributed to it, and the other writers that they had on staff there, but all under the direction of Tom Bell. You know what I mean? Tom Bell brought the best out of what Russell had to offer in terms of a tenor and in terms of the song itself. So he found the way to sell the song.
So it has a very big impact.
Oh yes, oh yes.
And throughout the music, like influences generations, like we're talking about how lots of generations nowadays still listen to your sound, and we can see that the 60s, like the late 60s and 70s, are kind of like back in trend, being like very big influence to big artists nowadays also. And you also been recorded by like Diana Ross, and Prince also inspired like your songs. So I wanted to know your opinion on what's your thought on current music nowadays, and what do you think the R&B and the soul is going through?
Well, if you think about it, they're sampling things from yesterday and creating new innovative sounds, but the old school music is the basis of everything. They're going into different genres and different, you know, countries all over the world that just has to follow, you know, the old school. Yeah.
Without a doubt, you know, as the saying goes, old school will never die. You know what I mean?
Never die.
And it's great to know that young folks are grabbing hold of that music, you know what I mean? Because it gives them an avenue to do other things other than this great up and down, up and down, up and down. It allows them to expand on what they're doing as artists. Yeah, so it's great.
That's amazing. And just to finish off, I wanted to just jump a little bit back in time in the 70s when you guys opened for James Brown, and you talked about like a lot of the social tensions when I saw lots of interviews. And you described your music as something that brings people together, and you also said that now, and especially through the love songs. So I wanted to know, how do you see the Stylistics music, especially in today's world and in today's scenario especially?
Well, love songs will always be around. You know, you can always find a good love song, regardless of the time period. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just being in the right place at the right time with your material and what you do, that you present it, and the folks will grab hold of it, you know, based upon what you've done in the past.
Exactly. And in my thought process, the world is going through such a transition period. There's a lot of hate and a lot of discomfort going on around the world in general. So you need to revert back to those love songs to bring people together. If you remember Marvin Gaye, he was really inspirational during that time with the songs he had, you know. So we need to go back to those times, and fortunately over the decades that we've been able to survive and still send a message of love, peace, and harmony. It's very important.
Thank you so much for the interview. That was amazing. That was the last question. É isso então, pessoal. Muito obrigada. Tchau, tchau e até a próxima.